What's happening, everyone? Nicky Hawkins here, West Ham Fan TV, back once again with another video and a new season and a new Musings. The Musings is back. I'll pick you 3 questions. You have your say, I have my say, and it'll all go in the video. Let's go. So, question 1: what did you make What did you make of the performance at Bournemouth? Did you see it as a positive or a negative? Well, I'll give my thoughts on that one first. I saw it as a positive mainly. I think we played well in large parts of the game. Bournemouth are a very fit side. They've had a half decent pre-season. They're one of the teams that are tipped with a lot of new signings to do quite well this season. And I think we outplayed them from a lot of the game. I know there's a lot of comments under our YouTube videos from the weekend that saw it the complete opposite way. But I'm going to say, as I saw it, I was fearing it going in. That pre-season, the last couple of pre-season games, the one against Rennes, the one against Leverkusen, we were poor. We were really poor. And, we needed signings. Why they've taken so long to replace Rice, I don't know. But, Rice, for all intents and purposes, has been replaced now. But why they aren't in, obviously I'm not a football dealer, so I don't know how long these deals get to take place. But when you think about how long the Rice deal took to take place, there should have been people in, a long or lined up a long time before that. I saw it as mostly a positive. The only, the negative I did see from it was, Ben Rama was very poor on the day. Last season was more consistent. For me, it was Hammer of the Year. Of course, Declan got it, but I thought he was Hammer of the Year. But, I hope he doesn't revert back to his old ways, of this player who sort of flicks in and out of games and doesn't have much impact. A great goal by Jared, who I've tipped to be the most improved player this year because he had a pretty poor season by his standards last year. I thought Souček played well. I think the defence mainly played well, apart from Aguirre getting caught out a few times by Solanke. I think the equaliser was very fortunate for them, although we did invite them on after we scored, and that's something that we've got to get out of our game. But that's, I think that's purely Moyes' ball, to be quite honest with you. We had enough chances, hit the post twice. I thought Paquetá had a good game. So, yeah, I thought it was mainly positive. On another day, we win that game. But let's have a look. It was a lot better than the beginning of last season, where we lost 1-0 to Forest. But let's have a look how you guys saw it. Miss Hammerett says, positive first half, but dire second half with typically stubborn playing for a draw subs. We go again. Bio Wonder says, I thought we played very well throughout. Unlucky to concede from a deflection. Subs a little faster. We could stop hitting the goddamn woodwork. It's going to be a good season. 97 said, first half was positive, but once we scored, we seemed to go back to just how we sit back. That part was negative. We should be pushing on. Rob Clark says, played well until we scored. Then the try not to concede / lose mentality came back in, and that's what lies with Moyes. No positives at all, says Silverhammer. Same as before, poor possession stats against the bottom of the table team. Ollie Jonas says, still not killing teams off when we should be. Can't go one up top and sit back every time. Getting tired of Moyes, says Rob. Viking Hammer 49. Playing not to lose instead of playing to win. West Ham Adams says, I think the result and performance will look a lot worse as time goes on because I think Bournemouth are going to be one of the weakest teams this season, in my opinion. So worrying signs for me. Interesting to see how the new signings will improve us. Stuart Dillon's put up a stat, 63% possession to Bournemouth, and says, another negative sit-back Moyes ball. Played well until we took the lead, says Ed. Souček much better without Rice, says James Edrupt. Mick Clifford says, was expecting worse after the last defeat in pre-season. Could have, should have held on. Aguirre, nightmare. I agree, he wasn't great, was he? Fornals, Paqueta and Souček, majestic in the midfield. I thought Fornals was brilliant. I really do. Fornals excelled, says Dan Hussack. He's agreeing with the two of us there, as did Souček. However, the lack of quality on the bench showed in the end, as none of the subs were able to make a difference. Positive first half, but defence is still concerning, says Josiah. And Dutch Iron says, was positively surprised with the starting lineup was happy for the first 60 minutes. The moment we started to soak up the pressure, you could sense the downfall. Towards the end, could see us even losing. So there we go. Question 1. Mixed bag there, mixed bag. This is one, yeah. Jesse Lingard is back at West Ham. Well, sort of, he's training. And he's being considered for a short-term deal. What are your thoughts? I would avoid this man at all costs. I he was great when he came in, but you got to think that was like nearly 3 years ago now, 2.5, 2.5. Let me think, 1, 2, 2.5 years when he last come to us. Look, I'm not going to blame him for, having a go at Man United, but when he joined Forest last year, and I'm not saying, look, we're not entitled to anyone to join us over Forest. Forest are a very good football club, and all power to them for that. We there was a bit backwards and forwards, and if we'd have got him, we probably wouldn't have got Paquetá. But I think he led us a merry dance, to be quite honest with you. He's more interested in his online persona. He's more interested in his TikTok videos and his brand and all of this sort of thing. He thinks he's a clever entrepreneur. Look, the guy's a very talented footballer, and I think he should concentrate on football until he gets, until he retires, which isn't far off now. Look, Paquetá's probably going to leave. If he doesn't leave in this summer, I'll be very surprised, which is, a real stab in the heart to us fans, really, after we've lost Rice. But it is what it is. If that's what he wants, that's what he wants. But we need to spend the money. We're going to be getting 100 million quid. And I'm a bit concerned with the signings. I must admit, I'm a bit concerned with the players that we've let go. And I'm not concerned when the signings were bought in, but there's a lot of them that are like north of 28, which is, I think that is concerning. You got to look for the long term. We're not going to get another 200 million quid. So spending 100, 200 million quid on players, I think Ward-Prowse is a good signing. I really do. I think he's a really good signing. I think he'll get the best out of us. But we're still chasing Maguire. We've just signed Ward-Prowse. Then getting Lingard at 30. You're getting 3 or 4 players at 24 and 24, 25-year-old and replacing them with 30-year-olds. Doesn't bode well. There's no future plan, which is, I think shocking. Unless we go out, I know there's rumours that we're going to go out and we've bid for a couple of players as well, like attacking players. We'll see that when it comes off, because we do drag our heels, and if any other clubs come calling, we drag our heels so much that, sometimes, a lot of times, them deals don't get done. So let's have a look. Let's have a look what you guys say about Jesse Lingard. I think this one's come out of left field, man. I'd rather have given Dimitri Payet a go. But Miss Amaret says, not 100% sure about this. Moyes rarely gives up, so this is clearly his decision. Still uncertain about it and believe he showed his true colours when he chose money over what he would gain career-wise with us. If he returns, hope he makes up for it. Maybe he's trying to find his watch. 97 says 100% no. Even if we signed Paquetá and we had no replacement, I wouldn't re-sign him. It would be a massive kick in the teeth to the whole club. He turned us down, but why are we even allowing him to train with us? Where's his family issue now? If the wages are way lower, I would say no, says Jacko. We need rotation, and last time he was positive for us. So unless he demands too much, and it's a no-brainer. He knows more is ball too. Danny says, getting back on a short-term deal. We need squad players with the likes of Lanzini gone and now another European campaign this season. No-brainer. I think, again, even if he was signed as a squad player, what's the point? Short-term deal. Geezer ain't trained all summer. I think it's just chucking money down the toilet, to be honest with you. But I do agree, we do need a little bit of depth in the squad, especially if like Flynn Downs goes now. Replaces Lanzini if he can replicate any sort of form he had with us at the first time, then happy days, but just don't want to see him do the hammer sign again. Sam says, that was from iStanix i7. Sam says, if he gets offered a short-term deal, then the club would obviously feel he deserves it, would also help towards our homegrown quota. Short term, I'm okay with it as long as it's only performance based. Long term, not so much. Rob says if it's cheap enough, I say why not. Silver Hammer, another sign of desperation and no direction. Stuart Dillon says hopefully we don't sign him. We should have moved on. Mick Clifford says I'm okay with it. It's the badge on the front of the shirt, not the name on the back. If he's offered a short-term deal, it's because he's excelled in training. Grant Coxford says, avoid at all costs. Absolutely no benefit to the team or the dressing room. If the club are looking for someone to expand the brand on TikTok, then maybe he's qualified. Absolutely. Dan Hosek says he would be a great asset off the bench, especially in the cup games. Richard says, spend the fucking money and get some quality in. Absolutely. Iron Stew says he's on the fence. West End Until I Die says, never, he's finished and also chose money over us last season and paid the price for it. And Boy Wonder says, my thoughts are that West Ham fans, like my children, who had their toy taken away from them for throwing a tantrum in a shopping centre, pretending they didn't want the toy in the first place. There we go. I could read comments all day. There's loads of them for this one. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And number 3, we know Scamacca's left. So Bowen is considered as an out-and-out striker as a replacement for Scamacca. Bowen is being considered as an out-and-out striker. Is this a mistake? Yes, is the short answer for me. We need a centre-forward. You know, look, I know we've done really well with Antonio. Antonio looks like he might go. Scamacca's gone. Look, I ain't got no faith in Moyes to sign a striker. He took 18 months to choose Scamacca. It's a very, very odd brand of football that he plays, and a very demanding and unrewarding brand of football that he plays for a centre forward who's running around there up on his own. It's tough. It's tough as a centre forward, and I'm not surprised that one after the other want to leave, because it's, as I said, it's a very tough brand of football. So you take Bowen, for instance. Look, Bowen, I think, excels on the wing. You know, I know he's played centre forward there before. I know he's converted Arnautovic and Antonio, but I think it'd be taken a little bit from Jared's game. You know, Jared is good at getting past the defender. Jared is good at cutting inside and shooting. Jared is good at standing up a man. All of a sudden, you move him into the centre, you know, where Danny Ings plays. He's got 2 centre-halves following him around all game. I think it takes a lot away from him. You know, he's not, built like Antonio, where he's going to be able to sort of outpower, outmuscle people. You know, he's got a good work rate, absolutely. But I think, aerially, he's not going to be great. I just think it's the wrong move for Jarrod Bowen. You know, I think he's more of a threat on the wing. And, if you think about, as I said, this is before signings, you think about what we've got in terms of wingers. I don't see no one as good as Jarrod on the wing, First things first, for a centre-forward to get chances, he needs to have someone supplying him on the wing. Who comes in for him? Fornell's not a great winger, and he's playing in the centre at the moment. Cornet, I don't see him creating chances for Bowen, I think it'd be a mistake. I think it'd be a big mistake. And go and spend some fucking money and get a proper centre-forward, for fuck's sake, Get someone, even if it's from a lower league or something, like a Sacco when we took a chance on him. But let's have a look. Let's see what you guys said. What do you call this now? Twitter or X? I think it's called X, to be quite honest with you. Lots of comments on this one. Spencer Taylor, massive mistake. Bowen is class at right wing. And if we moved him up front, who have we got to play right wing? Absolutely. Silver Hammer says, surely this is a wind-up. When Bowen has had the odd game up front, I've never seen any indication that he has it in him to play in that position. It's a sign of desperation that they are considering we've only played one game. Silver Hammer thinks we're desperate. I tend to agree, to be honest with you. We always do it on the cheap, says Onga Hammer. How about actually buying a striker? How about buying an actual right wing back, etc., etc., instead of converting players from their position? Milo says, I think this is just Moyes trying to put out a message that we're not desperate to buy a striker, so we don't get held to ransom in the market, even though we are. Viking Hammer 49 says, it seems like a way to get out of finding a true striker, but then again, we see the club striker track record, so give it a shot if we've got a winger in. Bowen as an option, but we have to get a top forward in. Antonio and Ings are done. And Mubama has potential, but don't want to heap too much pressure on him yet. That was from Ed. Dutch Iron says, on the wing, he has the space to play at his On the wing, he has the space to play his strength cutting inside the fullback. In the centre, he will engage 2 centre-backs to do it. I've said that. Can't see it really. Paolo, how can anyone back Moyes when he treats players so badly? Aaron Little says, Antonio said himself, the strikers feed off scraps. We can't really afford to have one of our best players feeding on scraps. Dan Hozak says, yes, Moyes should only consider this option if there's no one else available. He's part of the only players who now start to start in his natural position on the right wing. His goal versus Bournemouth proved that with his wonder strike cutting him from the right. Grant Coxford, not sure he has the strength of Arnie or Antonio to play as a striker in Moyes' ball. Moyes making excuses and looking for the easiest way not to buy a striker. Mick Clifford says Bowen would be perfect there, as finding another winger is Moyes' forte. It worked out with Arnie and Antonio, so they expect it to work with Bowen. He's the best finisher at the club. A couple more. Stuart Dillon said we should be trying to sign a striker, a proper proven striker, and play to his strengths. Costia says, of course it's a mistake. Klopp isn't moving Salah over to striker just because he scores goals. And Josiah says, yeah, I think Bowen is a better right-wing attacker, not as a striker. There we go. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's on... no, it's not on the social. It's... there we go. Thank you very much for joining us on West Ham Fan TV's Midweek Musings. Don't forget to check us over the weekend. We're building up towards a Chelsea game. Do check out our merchandise. We've got new merchandise in the store. Link in the description down below. There's a podcast going up on Patreon later on today, so do check that out. Brian's back. Congratulations to him. So if you want to become a Patreon and support us that way, please do that. We've got some big announcements coming at the end of the week and the return of a fan favourite show. So listen, we'll speak about that tomorrow or Friday. Don't miss it over the weekend. You're not going to want to miss it. But there we go. Can you speculate what that show is? Comments in the comment section down below. One thing left to say from me.